to SR Concepts. I am Ravi Verma and this is the third part of the second chapter of biology, and the title of the chapter is Tissues. In the previous video we have discussed about simple permanent tissues. In this video we are going to discuss about the different tissues of stem and the complex tissues. Look at the figure number 6.3. This is the section or the transverse section of the stem. So if we cut the stem transversely and if we observe it with the help of a microscope, then something like this will be observed in the microscope. Okay, so here you can see. Now if we talk about this figure, this is just this portion of this figure is being shown here in more magnification. Okay, first of all, there is epidermis, which is the outermost layer of cells in any plant part. So the outermost layer of the cell in any plant part is called epidermis. Now inside the epidermis there is a tissue known as cortex. The internal layer of the cortex is called endodermis. So we can say that cortex is from epidermis to endodermis. Now here you can see this red colored patch. This is the pericycle. This is made up of sclerenchyma, that is a dead tissue. Then there is phloem, then xylem, and this is the cambium. So this whole tissue, this group of tissues including phloem, xylem and cambium, this is called vascular bundle. So here you can see this is the vascular bundle, and this green color patch is called phloem, this red colored patch is the xylem, and between the phloem and the xylem there is a cambium. This cambium is the lateral meristem. This is the lateral meristem which helps in the growth of the girth or the diameter of the stem. Now if we talk about the cortex, here you can see there are a few layers of collenchyma. These are the collenchyma layers. The outer layers are collenchyma and the inner layers are made up of parenchyma. Now these cone-like structures are actually vascular bundles, and here you can see that between the cone-like structures there are certain colorless portions being shown here. These colorless portions are called medullary rays, and these medullary rays are being represented here. This is the portion that is called medullary ray. Now this central zone is called pith. This is called pith, and this is again made up of parenchyma. So medullary ray, pith and cortex, there are the three locations. These are the three locations where parenchymatous cells are formed. Here you can see this is parenchyma. These medullary rays are also parenchyma. The pith is also parenchyma. Sclerenchyma is present just outside the vascular bundle. Here you can see outer portion of the vascular bundle, and collenchyma is present just below the epidermis. This portion is collenchyma. Okay. Now let's talk about some more features of epidermis. First of all, the layers of epidermis are tightly packed together, right? And they prevent the loss of water, and they also prevent the entry of parasitic fungus into the plant tissues, right? Okay. Now if we talk about the epidermis of roots, this I'm talking about this portion, right? If we talk about a root, these cells will be the epidermal cells, and you see that roots have many hair-like structures. These are called root hairs. So the epidermal cells of root make many hair-like structures. These are called root hairs, and they increase the surface area of the root for absorption of water, so that absorption of water becomes more rapid. Okay. Now if we talk about the plants which live in desert areas, which are called desert plants, or the plants which are found in scarcity of water or less amount of water, right? These are called xerophytic plants, right? So the plants of drier habitat, they have waterproof covering of waxy substance known as cutin. So they have a covering of cutin on their epidermis, and this cutin reduces the loss of water in dry habitat. Okay, now dear students, something is written here: is the outer layer of a branch of a tree different from the outer layer of the young stem? So if we talk about young stem, then the outer layer is green, but if we talk about a branch of a tree, then the outer layer is brown colored bark. Okay, so we are going to talk about what is bark, how the bark is formed. Let us understand about this. Yes students, here you can see that in every vascular bundle there is a layer, this layer of cambium. This is the lateral meristem. So dear students, when the plant has to grow in its diameter, what happens that the parenchymatous layers of the medullary ray just in front of the cambium layer also become meristematic, so that there becomes a complete circle, complete cylinder of lateral meristem. Right, now this lateral meristem that consists of the cambium and the cells of the medullary rays. So this lateral meristem starts cell division, and new cells are formed from outside also and towards inside also. New cells are formed towards outside also and inside also of the lateral meristem. So because of this, the plant should grow in its diameter, right? But the tissues outside the cambium, which include the phloem, right, the endodermis, the cortex, the epidermis, these all become pushed towards outside, and because of this they rupture, they become dead, and a material known as suberin gets deposited in them, and this suberin provides them water resistant property. So it becomes water resistant, it becomes dead, it becomes brown. So this whole tissue makes up the cork of the stem, cork of the stem. So dear students, here you can see in this portion, figure number 6.6, this is the cork. Here you can see the cork cells which have deposition of suberin. Right, here you can see the epidermis has been ruptured. This one, the epidermis has been ruptured. So this whole portion that I described here is given in this small paragraph. You can make your notes. Now let's talk about complex tissues. Complex tissues are composed of many types of cells, and there are two examples. One is xylem and other is phloem. Both of them conduct the materials. Xylem conducts water and phloem conducts food, and because of this, the xylem and phloem are called conducting tissues or vascular tissues. Now let's talk about xylem. So xylem, here starts the xylem. The function of the xylem is to conduct water and minerals from root. You know that root absorbs water plus minerals. So function of xylem is to conduct water plus minerals towards upside or upper parts of the plant. Now xylem consists of four different types of cells: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fiber, which is also called xylem sclerenchyma. Here you can see in this figure, tracheid, vessel, parenchyma are shown. Right, let's talk about xylem tracheid. So xylem tracheid is long elongated cell with pointed ends. Right, it has highly thickened cell wall. Right, it is a dead cell, and its function is to conduct water. If we talk about xylem vessel, then vessel is not a single cell. Vessel is a long file of cells where many cells are arranged one above the another in such a manner, and their transverse walls have many perforations or pores. Right, the cells are dead, have thickened cell wall, and this xylem vessel just act as a tube for transport of water. So xylem vessel is a major element or major type of cell that works in transport of water. So the function of vessel is to transport water. Here you can see the perforated cell wall, right, of the xylem vessel cells. If we talk about xylem parenchyma, then they are the normal living cells. They have cytoplasm, they have nucleus also, right, and their function is to store food material. Lastly comes the xylem sclerenchyma or xylem fibers. They are long fibrous cells, right? They have pointed ends and they have highly thickened cell wall. They are dead cells and their function is just to provide the strength to the plant. So here you can see that in xylem most of the cells are dead. Tracheids are dead, vessels are dead, and xylem sclerenchyma are also dead. Only xylem parenchyma is the living cell. Now let's talk about the phloem. Has 5 different types of cells. Phloem is made up of 5 different types of cells: sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fibers, and phloem parenchyma. Now if we talk about, look at this figure. If we talk about sieve tube, these are the major water food conducting cells of the phloem. Sieve tubes, here you can see this is one cell of the sieve tube. Sieve tubes are also long files of the cells, right? Many cells are arranged one above the another. Their transverse walls have pores also, but they are different from xylem vessels, that they are living cells. So sieve tubes are the living cells. They have cytoplasm in them, right? And their function is to conduct food material. Function is to conduct food material from source of food to the sink of the food, means where the food is required. Okay. Now, one thing that is very important to note is that the cytoplasm of sieve tube does not contain any nucleus. The transverse walls have many perforations. They are called sieve plates. Okay. Now, because they don't have nucleus, how do they perform their functions? Actually, there are companion cells which act as friend to the xylem, to the sieve tubes, right? So companion cells are normal living cells which are very close to the sieve tubes, right? They have their own nucleus. So this nucleus helps in many activities of the sieve tubes. Now we talk about another type of cell, that is phloem parenchyma. These are the normal living cells having cytoplasm and nucleus. Their function is to store the food material. Lastly, the phloem sclerenchyma. They are again the fibers, just like xylem sclerenchyma or xylem fibers. There are phloem fibers. They are dead cells, highly thickened cell wall due to the deposition of lignin. So wherever there is sclerenchyma, the cell wall is highly thickened and the cell is dead, and the cell wall is thickened because of deposition or accumulation of lignin in the cell wall. These phloem sclerenchyma provide strength to the plant parts. So dear students, both xylem and phloem are called vascular tissues or conducting tissues also. This is whole One more important point is that in xylem the movement of water is unidirectional from downwards to upward, but in phloem the movement of food is from both directions. On one side it takes food from leaves. Suppose this is a leaf, so it will take food from leaf and conduct it to the downwards. On the other side it may take food from the root and may conduct it to upside. So in phloem the movement of food is multi-directional, we can say, from upside to downside and from downside to upside. Thank you for watching the video. In the next video we will start the animal tissues.